let's just draw. Today I wanted to do Baby Groot, but as a Roblox character. So Roblox character, what makes a Roblox character? They are a bit more square shoulders. I mean, it's not easy, I think. This is me just sketching it out. How square is a Roblox character? Okay, I should look at reference. I just remember the arms are really like square like this. Are the legs square too? Maybe. Okay, maybe this will work. Oh, the legs are too thick. There. Okay. Let's see. But how does... Oh, I'll put a zipper right here. And square out the face some more. Would it look like this? How about if I made the heads another extra sketch? I just want to see if I made the arms really long and there, how about that? Put the zipper, always put the zipper in. Would it be more like a Lego character? I think this is it. That. Should I put like a flower? His head is like a pot. Maybe the zipper should be more on the side. No. Didn't work. Okay. I think that looks good. Hello, hi, Curtis, Leia. I'm just trying to draw Baby Groot as a Roblox character because I just want to learn how to make him into a Roblox character. How are you all doing? Here, now I'm gonna ink it because I don't know. Can you see it? Thank you, Leia. This is the other version, but which one do you like? The 1 or 2? Which should I ink first? Or here, I'll try. I think I'll ink this guy first because this looks like the right Groot. Hopefully I don't make mistake. You know what? I'm gonna do the small part first here and slowly make sure I have there. I'm gonna cover. Put the zipper right here. Shadow on the zipper. Hopefully it feels like a Roblox character. Maybe I'll try it in the game one of these days. Two, yes. Let's do two. I'm using a brush pen, so I have to be very, very careful with how much I press it. Oh, my smile. I hope that came out. There. Kind of looks cute, does it? Oops, I should use the thin part of this marker. Brush pen, I mean. Oh, this side doesn't have ink. Okay, here I'm gonna block this out. And I'm sorry guys, last week I didn't get to go live. I'm trying to do it every Saturday. It's just hard to schedule time. Let's see, who are you drawing? I was drawing Baby Groot as a Roblox character, or almost like a Lego character, really. I'm just designing one of these things because I wanted to see him as in a Roblox game. Does it look like Groot? Hi Leia. Hi Digital Zendo Digital Zero. Thanks for joining me here. So here is Baby Groot as a Roblox character. I think that's good enough for now, huh? I'm gonna learn some Blender so I could put it do the 3D version of this. This guy's head's a little too big, maybe, huh? Here, but I'll try to also do this. Ink this guy up. Does that look cute? I like doing this big zipper. Do you guys play Roblox? Who here plays Roblox? I don't get to play it as much, but I want to make a game. Do you have any other originals? Yeah. Actually, I have like, oh, or more. This guy's not original because you know, this is a Marvel character, but like an original character that I've made. Yeah, I have these other sketches that I'm doing. I'm making like some monsters. The reason I'm doing this is because Baby Groot, and it's October, so I do this thing called Groot-tober, a play on words, just so I could draw Groot in different costumes. I don't know if you check my channel yet, but I'm the guy who designed Baby Groot from Marvel Studios, so that's why I kind of try to draw him a lot because he reminds me of my son. So I use my son as reference. So yeah, so that's kind of like what I did at Marvel Studios. I assigned some characters. Let me see. What what's the best tip you can give me of making an original character because I cannot draw it? Oh, best tip of creating characters. Let's think. There's many things to consider, but to make an original character, I think one thing you have to consider is the story. What is the story of your character? I usually almost do it in tandem, like, you know, together, think of the story and sketching. Sometimes the sketch comes in first before the story, so this is what I would do. I would think of, I like fantasy or horror, right? So I would think of what kind of horror film or fantasy film I would want to do. And then I think of a name. I'm gonna go off with what I usually like. So I like, let's say, Vampire Hunters. Vampire Hunters. And we all know one of the famous vampire hunters is Blade. So I'm just giving you a thought process. Sometimes you could write it down just to remind yourself. Who are the vampire hunters that you like? Vampire Hunter D. Um, there's more. There's more that I can't remember. Well, how about you? Do you have any vampire hunters you like? Next week when we do this again, let's go off with what you want to make, and then I could help you that way. It's much better than me making this, because then it's what I like. But if you do what you want to make, then it'll be easy to kind of help with the training wheels, so that we could come up with a design that you can use. So anyway, so vampire hunter, vampire. So what do vampires? What do we know about vampires? They're afraid of the sun, holy water. So I was designing this character that I wanted to be a redhead. A red, because she's fiery, because she's like the sun, right? So I'm trying to do symbolism while I'm doing the design. But maybe she's from an order of the phoenix, or something like that. And what would she wear if she was like Blade? What kind of armor would she wear? What kind of body type would she be? Is she more like muscular? Is she lean? I'd have these questions that I asked myself, so I could figure out what kind of, first, her structure of her body, her special ability, what's her physicality. Is she smart? Is she more like, I guess the word would be, what is um, hmm, something that what's the word I'm looking art like archetype. I guess that's what, archetype. What is the archetype? But I definitely want her to be redhead. So redhead blade. Red symbolizes fire equals sun. So maybe she's not totally redhead. Maybe it's orange hair or something. So orange hair, kind of weapon. You know, is her weapon gonna be a centerpiece? So what weapon? I would love it to be like. What if it's like, relating to the sun? Maybe it's like rays of light, like a Chris, like a Filipino Chris, and it looks like there's fire or something. Again, this is all just sketching the idea for it. Is she gonna be wearing a skirt? A skirt with fire fire retardant armor underneath. Does she need a skirt? How much would she need bags for, like garlic or whatever? Does she need another sword back here? And now posing, what's a good pose? What's a good pose for her? And this is not like it's gonna be final. This is still take some time to develop. But I have like a starting point. It might even change more depending on the story. But yeah, this is how I kind of would start with the character. But of course, sometimes it's difficult to get the character to look a certain way because, sometimes you still need reference to find the different components you would need for this character. But I have no reference right now. We're just going off what we're talking about. Anyway, let me see what you're saying. I like. Ugh. I like scary dolls, and you just gave me an idea. I can make AOC with button eyes. Ooh. Button eyes. Big earrings. What kind of hair does she have? Wait, it's just a quick. Now after, you still have to figure out what she'll be wearing here. I'll probably go bring this to Photoshop and see where I could take it from there. But yeah, so maybe I like Cyclops. Maybe she could have like Cyclops sunglasses or something. But something definitely trying to make it iconic, memorable. I mean, it doesn't have to always be that way, but because of the nature of film, and I have to make something that is sellable, so I kind of have to think about that, about what would the studios want to see. That's why sometimes I just do stuff for myself too, because to experiment on other things. Oh no, I kind of messed that up already here. So anyway, here is my drawing for today. Let's give her a name. You guys, can you give me a name? It's very generic still. But it's okay to be generic in the beginning as long as I could list down all her traits and then try to find some other elements to incorporate with her design. Let's say, like we were talking about, is she maybe from the Phoenix, Phoenix clan of priesthood, or or a group, a gang group that are looking for vampires, like Van Helsing's group. Is this in the 18th century, right? Is this in I don't know, in the Philippines, right? Like how would they look like? How would vampire hunters in the Philippines look like? How would samurai vampire hunters look like? And I asked these questions to myself, and maybe it might spark some ideas. If I think of vampire hunters and crabs, would a crab shell, or one of my favorite things is the crab eyeball, when the eyeball comes out like this from the crab shell. Just that concept, soft and this black shiny material with a hard shell, like, and then this is the crab eye, here's the crab mouth. Like this combination, can I bring that into this design somehow? It's like, it's just very interesting to me. And then the eyeball moves around, right? How can I put this into this design? I don't know the answer to it right now, but I'm just initially telling myself that, like, how can I? And if she's like Phoenix, Order of the Phoenix, how would I use the bird feathers incorporate that in her design? And then now I have like 5 different directions, right? So this is what's going on in my head now after I did that sketch. I'm gonna have this one, which is the crab idea mixed with that original priestess visual costume. So now I will look for Catholic references, Islam references, any religion, because, well, Buddhism, right? Like, so I have these. What was the other one I said? I said crab, and then I said another thing. Now I forgot. I was saying that. Oh, feathers, feathers, and crab feathers, and people always use snakes a lot, and I want to use something else. Fur, maybe fur. Okay, so the designs I did, but this crab idea is different from the feather. So I look at the shape, and that combination with the stem in the middle and feathers coming out, can I bring that into the design? Like if this is her outfit, so if this is the center line, that's the center line, how do I put the feather design down here, right? Or maybe it's more like peacock. Is it more like a peacock? So list all this down. So, and then for the fur part, same thing. I go do the physical body like this, and now fur, I got, okay, skunk has fur. With the skunk combination of where the black and the white is, would that be good in this structure? Or is it a bear, like a bear? Would that, how would you make her silhouette feel more like a bear now? But then that takes away the agility that I want from her, because she's a vampire hunter. She needs to be agile. Again, this is just me, my personal preference. But I could do a design where she's more like beefy, beefy, thick, and or like thick but lean, and then the crab idea is, shell-like structure with the head kind of sticking out and using, um, almost feeling more armored, but having that where the eye comes out and the shell comes here, so kind of like that. So this is how my brain works. So I put it in like boxes, maybe 4 or 5 more, and then these I'll do 5 versions of these, right? And then sometimes it gets too much, ADHD here. 5 each one, but I get so much ideas, and it just gets so much fun to do it this way. And of course, I'm going really fast with this, but hopefully you get the gist. So if you want to start your original character, you must always start with the planning, not just straight ahead with drawing it. Yes, that's a good way that I like to do it. But again, if you get inspired quickly, you don't have to do it this way. You could, after drawing it, you could plan it after. So this is more like a structured way of going through the design development. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it this way. I'm just doing it this way because I have to explain to you what's going on in my mind. But in my mind, it's all kind of jumbled. Sometimes it goes here, here, and sometimes it all pops up all at the same time. And I have to like catch each one. So it's hard to draw each one. So what I do is I write it down first because it's kind of faster, or record myself saying the ideas. But sometimes I just go with what my mind gravitates to. I like to do the crab, and the crab, visual cues for the crab, like the crab arm, and I've studied the crab many times, or the shrimp, right? The shrimp like this with, like, I boiled some of it down to like symbols already, so I don't do the details, so I could use the structure of the crab, or the crab arm, or crab shell. That's why while you're not doing any designs for any work, really, you should go into the lab, right? And be studying things that you love already. If you love birds, study the birds and then understand everything about it, the symbolism. You could use it for bird feather for fire, bird feather for jealousy, bird feather for, how do you link those together, and then you write it down, and maybe you could refer back to it later on. But to get good habits, yes, it's good to plan out what you want to do first, what symbolism you want to evoke. Like here we talked about the vampire hunter, right? So what kind of vampire hunter is she? Is she agile? Is she, does she have a big problem? Is she a bounty hunter? Is she not? Is she part of, like, all these questions? It almost is good for you to answer, so you have a direction you want to go. And sometimes you just stick to each answer, that how do you say, you stick to making that answer and follow through with it until the end of your design, so you get to finish. Because the only one problem with having so much ideas, sometimes you don't get to finish it. You get to the idea part, almost like going this direction, and it fizzles out, and you jump to this one, you go here, and then all of a sudden, oh, this looks better than that, and it gets muddy. That's why it's important to know what your story is. So you always relate to, this is the story in the script, let me stick to it, and and then that way you don't waste too much time in finishing your design. But I have to say this, even though that's to be professional, right? But to be just creative and just to have so many ideas, it is good to just go shotgun approach, and making sure you have notes for all of it, so you could come back to it and get excited again. Because it's like stream of consciousness. Even this, as I'm doing this for you guys, I feel like, wow, I should just really put this into a book or something, because this is kind of fun. Something I've developed throughout the years of making stuff. And I think only I could really understand this. And there's still so much more to go. An example for symbolism, like for For Loki, I designed Loki for Thor Ragnarok, and when I was designing his costume, I know his mom died, his dad died, and you know, he's sad inside. He's unbalanced. So a seesaw idea was what I was thinking of, but his is unbalanced. So it's like it's all in one side. So if that's one side, then his costume would be very very asymmetrical, and that's why when you look at his Sakar costume, one side has armor. Well, actually, in the end result, it became a little bit more symmetrical. But I kept the diagonal lines in his costume, so that way you could tell I'm talking about how he's still hurting inside, and hopefully that helped with this. It's just sometimes it's just a lot of deep thought. This a little more advanced with putting symbolism in it, but this getting the basic direction is something you should practice. Um, so yeah, so I'll take one of these and go next. Anyway, I have to go, but hopefully this helped out, and please comment again if you have any more questions. I am Groot. That's so funny. I'm looking at the comments right now. All right, you guys, thank you again for joining me. I'll try to do this again next week, maybe earlier in the morning or at this time if this is where people are available. All right, have a good weekend. Bye.